right now, without further ado, Miss Mylira Green, y'all. Oh, he said, what kind of doctor is she? She got all kind of stuff. She's a licensed clinical social worker. She's a CCPT, TP, what's CCTP?
A
Clinical,
certified complex trauma professional.
a complex trauma professional.
Yes.
So not just regular trauma. This one is trauma.
Like my type of stuff. Like my
Yes, and Straya. Both of y'all can have a talk with her.
I'm gonna throw Straya under the bus.
Oh my God. So welcome to the show, Mylira Green. Relationship, y'all. Do y'all have a question about relationship?
Let Mr. Bingham know she is not a rear-end doctor. Oh, he left. But Mr. Bingham was asking what kind of doctor, because he got worried. He thought she was.
Yeah,
I haven't studied the backside. None of my credentials do anything about that.
I love it. Well, welcome to the show. Hey, y'all, relationship questions. And Mylira, did you come on and do the show with us yet about how to handle the breakup?
Yes, we did that last week when we were talking about the grieving process and all that stuff. And today I wanted to kind of touch on the importance of us treating our relationships as important as starting a business. And what do I mean by that? We do a lot about business planning. What's your vision? What's your mission? What's your values? What do you believe in? What's your principles? But we don't do that in our relationships. And what I'm learning, even in my own marriage right now, is we are working on our marriage business proposal. What is our mission for our marriage? What's our vision for our marriage? What are the values that we want to uphold? What are some of the projections that we have in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? It is very important for us to treat our relationships like our businesses. And it kind of goes back to that conversation when we were talking about intimacy and people were saying how they felt like it was impersonal to plan that time. But when you don't plan or set the intention in certain things, then it begins to go on the wayside. So today, I just want to encourage people to be as intentional with your relationships that we are with our career. We plan out how many years it's going to take us to go to school. We plan out what certifications we need. We plan out how much money we want to make. But in our relationships, we typically don't take the time out to write down that vision. So I was watching Dr. Darius Daniels. He's a pastor, and he has this thing called Thrive. And it's kind of like his Bible study. And when he said this thing, it hit me. He said, a lot of the times we like to run with our vision, but we don't write it down, make it clear, read it, then write it. And being able to get to that point. So now I'm in a space of, even in my relationships, I need to sit down with God and let God give me a clear vision of what does this relationship supposed to look like in this season. Write it down, us read it together, have a conversation, then we can run and have something successful. So that's kind of what I wanted to encourage people to do today.
Wow, I love that. So you want to write it down?
Yes, you want to write it down and discuss it. Because intentionality, like this comment says, marriage is intentionally permanent. Get the straight first. And here's the piece of it. We talk about commitment, but commitment is about making a choice over and over and over again. You don't just commit one time and then walk away and think it's going to take care of itself. That doesn't happen. We don't do that with our children. We don't just say, hey, I want to be a mother. I want to be a father. Now I know I got these kids and they just here and I just walk away. I give them no guidance. I give them no instructions. We got to be the same way with our marriage. Just because I said I do, or even in our relationship, just because I say I choose you in this season, it doesn't mean that that choice lies in that one time. I got to choose you every day. That's the work part of it. The work part of it is I have to make a conscious decision that today I'm going to show up for you. And because every day we're becoming new people, that means I get to know the you that you are today and not hold you accountable to the you were yesterday or the you I expect you to be. But who do you wake up to be today? And that's where that vision and that mission comes in at. So then I know that we're actually in line with where we're trying to go first. So it's all about setting that foundation. I love that. Clean your foundation first. We got to literally clear it off. Where do I visualize ourselves? And this will also eliminate divorce. If I visualize myself making it to the end with you, I am going to do what it takes to make it to the end. If I visualize myself where divorce is an option Anytime you get on my nerves, guess what? I'm going to be committed to that divorce because that's where my mind is focused on. So I need to have a clear vision of what direction we're going into, because one day them kids are going to leave. One day that career is going to have to slow down because you get older. Sometimes that business is not going to be the most important. So where do I see my spouse, my significant other in my life? And then I can set my mission based off of, well, what are we going to do in this season? Because in relationships, you're going to have seasons. Sometimes you're going to be the best of friends, and other time, I don't want you to touch me. I don't want to see you. I don't want to do nothing. So we got to get into this space where we are aware of the direction that we're trying to go into.
Wow. I feel like you did this today just for me. So you just wrote this one for me, about to get married, and all these things we need to talk about. That's really clear. I think part of what I hear too is clear communication in any relationship, especially at the very beginning, so what it is you expect from each other. And then you can look forward to that, or at least you have a meter to gauge by. Are you getting that thing you wanted out of a relationship? Because I'm going to tell you, I believe all relationships that end because somebody in there wasn't happy. So when you come together, everybody happy, but along the way, sometimes somebody ain't happy no more. If you could seek to see how come they're not joyful, what is it that ran off the rails for you? Because we started out both being on the same page. And that's why to be the best way to be on the same page is actually sit down, talk about it, write out the expectations. I certainly hope that Sonia's not watching today's show, because I don't have to be right now, no expectation. Okay. Hey, y'all, anybody got relationship questions out there? This is a good time to throw them in. And somebody, they really love what you did. Somebody said, amen, Mylira. Leave what you came with. What was that one? Leave with what you came with. What does that mean?
I'm not sure. I will say this about the expectations. A lot of arguments and broken relationships happen because of unexpressed expectations. We have these expectations in our minds for our significant others to do certain things. And we have to first be aware that those expectations aren't coming out of trauma, but those expectations is coming out of what I visualize myself going to. I tell people this all the time. Our reality has zero to do with what we see, but all to do with what we believe. And my sister says she is watching. I'll give y'all some premarital counseling if y'all open to it. I got you. But when we focus on whatever, that's what we're going to end up manifesting and seeing in our lives. So if I focus on the fact that this person is supposed to give me the love that my mother and my father never gave me, we're going to be looking for that, and then it doesn't happen. If I look for, oh, you know what, I want this relationship to be different. I don't want any abuse. I don't want any whatever. Because I'm so focused on that, that is what I'm going to manifest. And that's why that vision is so important. I have to shift what I focus on to shift this relationship, so then I can express my expectations in a way that you can meet it. Sometimes we think our significant other can read our minds, and then now we mad because we want to go on a date every week, but I never told them that. Or I don't like flowers, but his way of telling me I love you, he gives me flowers, but I never told him, well, I'd rather have chocolate. Like we have to be able to express what our expectations are, so that our significant other can actually do that for us. They cannot read our minds, and things change. I'm not going to lie to you. What people do when they first try to get you is to try to get you. So if that's something that you maintain, you got to tell them, I want you to maintain that for me. That is the reason why I wanted to be with you. Like I tell my husband all the time, like he was more outgoing than I was. So he used to be the life of the party, laughing, smiling. Now he's very serious demeanor. He don't mean no harm, but he's become like this serious guy that everybody's like, hey, are you Mylira's husband? You sure? But I had to tell him that is what I used to enjoy. I used to enjoy him being the life of the party and smiling and joking and laughing, but I had to communicate that with him for him to see, man, I did kind of lose myself. Sometimes your significant other lose themselves just with the hustle and bustle of life. So if you're not that extra eye to tell them, this is what I expect, this is what I miss, then we can't get there. And again, communication in your relationship becomes the real foreplay. Hello, somebody. Absolutely. You gotta get me in my mind before you can get me somewhere else.
It's a family show. We got to say that one more time.
Yeah, you gotta get me in my mind before you can get me anywhere else.
But the communication is the foreplay.
Yes, the
That's the
communication is
piece
the
that
foreplay.
resonated with me. If how you talk to people will determine how they're going to respond to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if you communicate in the right love language, then your lover or your love intent is going to unfold to your will. You know, and if you're not communicating that language, then they're going to automatically sort of close that out. It's because we tend to self protect ourselves. If we don't know what's coming, then we don't take no chance to this that it's a big bouquet of roses. It could be a dagger. So we really don't know what's coming. We tend to pull in and hold up, wait a minute. But if you're talking to me, if you talking to me, then I know what's going on. And, you know, I'm in the light. Okay. Oh my God, that's good. Did we have any questions out there, Mama? Did you see Katie? Anybody had a question, a relationship question? And yes, Sonia is watching.
Hi, Big Sis. Happy belated birthday, Queen.
Look, while they trying to get their question together, let me run this by you from Paulette. Oh, it went past too far. Paulette said, I know this is a serious part of the show, but I love them earrings. She said, I love them earrings.
Yes, they're from my sister Takara. She makes them by hand. So I
Really?
can definitely get her information to make sure I bring it next week so that you guys can know. But she makes the fringe earrings by hand, and I have quite a few different pairs. If anybody know me, earrings is my love language. I can wear all black and I can rock this shortcut, but if you give me a nice pair of earrings, I got you. Yes, yes.
Okay, here we go. Let me bring my girls in there because look like everybody's scared to ask a question. Maybe everybody all relationships up. Somebody said, Kimberly Brown said, I was raised with two parents. My father treated my mother like a queen. I asked my mother, how do she do said? I don't understand the last word.
How does she choose her battles?
Oh, how does she choose her battles?
Man, that is such a great question. And I think I'm kind of there right now, even in my own, own marriage, is you choose what you give your energy to. Some things ain't worth the energy. And that's why it's so important to know your spouse so you can know what their intentions are. Your spouse is not going to always give you warm and fuzzies. They're going to sometimes do something, say something that just going to rub you the wrong way because you're human too. So what I like to tell people is know the intent behind what is going on. Because just because a person treats you like a queen or a king don't mean they're going to always make you feel that way just because they treat you in that way. So we want to know what their motives are. Do they love me? Do they not? What are we going for? It goes back to what we're even talking about, is being able to have that vision and mission in mind of what is this relationship trying to get to. And then lastly, we talk a lot about love languages, but I was working with my life coach this morning. His name is Dr. Chris Bowen. And he said there's also the apology language. We don't know how to apologize correctly. And the same way that we know our love language is certain things, each of us have an apology language. For me, you can't just tell me I'm sorry. That does nothing for Mylira. That doesn't mean anything to me. I'm like, all right, I hear you. You got to show me. You got to show me you sorry. You got to show me that you ain't going to do it again. You got to show me that you heard that you hurt my feelings. You got to show me that. So if you guys are familiar with the love languages, the same guy, Gary Chapman, he created the apology language. So when it comes to not being offended by what your spouse does, your spouse and yourself need to know what your apology language is. So when they do hurt your feelings, they can show you, this is how I apologize. So my husband, no, look, dude, you can't just tell me I'm sorry. Like, you got to change that behavior. And then for him, it might be as okay with me just saying, look, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. And once I know that, then I can move past some of those challenges. Then I can move past some of those battles. And then also understanding that sometimes, listen, and this may sound so oxymoronish, but for real, hear me out. Your significant other may not always be your accountability and every dream and goal that you have. What do I mean by that? We get upset because we want our spouses to be our everything. They don't have that capacity. My husband cannot help me with my weight loss goals at all. If I was to tell him, babe, I'm dieting, I'm not eating this, but then I have me a moment and I want that salted caramel cookie from 7-Eleven, and I tell him, He's not going to be the one to remind me, baby, you trying to lose 40 pounds. He going to be the one that's going to get in the car and say, all right, I'm going to go get that cookie, bring it back and eat it with me and have more for tomorrow. I know that he loves me, but I also know that he can't be my accountability in certain aspects of my life. So now I'm not offended when he cannot show up for me because he doesn't have to give me that discipline in that space. So that's another way of choosing your battles, is understanding that God gave you other people in your life to cover some of the things that your spouse may just can't, because it's not important to them. It don't mean that you're not important to them. It just means my husband can eat whatever he want and not gain weight. So him eating a cookie don't impact him. I eat a cookie and gain 5 pounds. So it's understanding that give or take and let other people in your space to be your support as well.
Mylira, my baby right now is slimming down so she wants to look her best in her wedding dress November 4th. And for her birthday, I called Chicago and had them put together this big, beautiful caramel cake that they could deliver overnight with a cooling system, right? And right before I hit that button, I was like, wait a minute. How the hell am I sending her a cake when I know she wants to lose weight? That is not the right gift to give. I had to cancel that order. You know what I mean? I was going back and forth with the lady about it. And how do we make it look good? How we get it there on time? And then I hung up the phone. I was like, she's trying to pull back on the cake. So yeah, we need to know what our spouse wants and needs, so we can also help give them what they want and what they need, and in return they give us what we want and what we need. At least that's the way this thing was put together. That's the way it's supposed to work, you know. So okay, I gotta go. I just want to see if I have one question up there somebody asked before we go. All right, nobody jumped in with a question. Tell me what you want to leave us with.
Yeah, so I'm going to leave you guys with this. At the end of the day, forever is possible, but we have to change our mindset. They push divorce for a reason. But I want to make sure that we are having these conversations. And it's not just about being married. This is about any relationship, any connection that you have. If God wanted us to be by ourselves, he would have put us on our own planet. And he did not do that. And because he didn't, we need to learn how to maintain healthy and positive relationships. And the only way we can do that is having this conversation every Friday here on the Michael Coylar Show. To my brother and my sister, Michael and Sonia, I am super duper excited to be a part of you guys' life. And I'm just so grateful that I have the opportunity to be able to pour into you guys each week. I do not have this thing perfect. But what I do know is that I'm striving to have what God deems as a perfect marriage here on this side of earth. So I just thank you guys for just listening to me. And remember, create that vision and mission, just like your business, and your marriage will be even successful than it is right now.
I love you. You're fantastic. Leave us with a woo woo woo. You told them how to find you, right? I said that.
Oh, find me at www.myliratransforms.com. I am on Instagram, Mylira Transforms. I'm on Facebook, Mylira Green. You can call me at the number on the screen, which is 757-609-0694. And I am just excited, y'all. That's where y'all can find me at.
I love you. Thank you. Leave us with a woo woo woo.
Woo woo woo.
Mylira Green, y'all. LCSW. It's a lot of letters. I love her. Give it up, y'all.
I think that was really nice. I mean, at the end, how she put, everybody, but that was for you, Michael.
What?
That segment was for you, brother. And I think that was excellent that it was for you, because sometimes
Sonia is on here listening.
Yeah, oh, that's good. That's even better. The man of the hour.
She watching.
Right. The man of the hour. He needs to get put in the hot seat sometime. So that was good that she gave you information that will help a successful marriage.
I want to give 2 cents.